Hey guys, this is Patty B within the Hauler. I got another firearm I'd like to share with y'all. This is the IWI UZI Pro, chambered in 9mm parabellum. We'll go ahead and clear it real quick and clear. The UZI Pro is a polymer frame, blowback operated, striker fired semi-automatic pistol that feeds from 25 round magazines. I'd like to give a big shout out to my buddy Archer, who just picked this up and let me borrow it for this review. This thing's pretty cool, so big shout out to him. The UZI Pro is a descendant of the legendary Israeli Uzi, designed in the 50s. And of course it was originally a fully automatic open bolt fired weapon, where this is a semi-automatic closed bolt fired weapon. But, evolving from the original Uzi, you had the mini Uzi, which was more or less just a smaller version of that. And then, the micro Uzi came out later, and, it was about this size, and it was just, another smaller Uzi model. So this is pretty close in size to the original micro Uzi, but, a lot of differences between this and that, starting off with, you've got a polymer lower. They didn't use polymers on any of the, the original Uzi models. So that makes this kind of unique. We'll go over some of the specs on this. We'll start off with, we got a 4.5 inch cold hammer forged barrel, which is pretty cool. And this thing, as configured with optic and brace, weighed 5.5 pounds on my scale. So we'll hit some of the features. First one's this cool polymer lower. All the original Uzi stuff was all stamped steel, and this thing's polymer, which is pretty cool. You've got this nice rail out here, which is, would be perfect to put a light right here where you can activate with your finger. The magazine release is different than the original Uzi models. Originally they were heel release. This is a push button release. These magazines, I guess, are pretty hard to come by. You can use original Uzi mags. You're just going to have to do some modification to get them to work with the push button release. You'll have to put some holes in your mags to make them work. It's got a slit down here, which kind of leads me to believe that this would actually work in the old school Uzis, but I'm not sure about that. Like the original Uzis, it does have a safety right here where you have to grip it, push that in to make it be able to fire. It's got a push button safety here, which is pretty similar to the original Uzi. Your upper here is stamped sheet metal, much like all the original Uzis. You have a side charging handle, which is different from the old school Uzis because they were a top charging handle. But moving that charging handle over the side is pretty awesome because it then lets you put a rail up here. So you can put an optic of your choice. The sights that come with it, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. They're just some notched out rear and kind of M16 similar looking post the way it operates. 3-dot sights that are, this is adjustable for elevation, and the rear is adjustable for windage. Give you a look at this side here. Look in there as we... It comes with this SB tactical brace, which is pretty awesome. It's folding. It doesn't use a button. It's just kind of friction, but it's pretty strong. And then it kind of sticks over there. It's pretty strong. It's actually a really stable platform. When my buddy was telling me he was going to buy this, it just looked kind of unwieldy, and you knew it'd be fun just to take out and blast with it, but you didn't know how well it was going to feel and how well it was going to shoot. And I've actually been pleasantly surprised. He brought it out yesterday and ran a bunch through it. I put 2 mags through it yesterday, so I have shot it a little, but not enough to get too much of an opinion on it. But I was definitely surprised. The ergos were pretty good, and this thing shot much better than I thought. Out here on the front, you got a threaded barrel, which is threaded for the standard 1/2 x 28. Yeah, this thing's definitely cool, definitely cool. We can go over the takedown of this real quick. You push this little tab in, and you basically just unthread your barrel. Barrel pops right out. You've got your little lever right here. You push this, and boom, top cover comes off. And take your bolt, just pull it to the rear, and it angles right out. Give you a look at how that operates. So you can see your firing pin is actually connected to this piece right here, and that's what actually locks to the back. When you pull the trigger, that whole thing comes slamming forward. Give you a look inside here, just stamped sheet metal. You can see your feed ramp right there, and the barrel just sits right in there. Ejector, that's part of your trigger system. So pretty simple. Putting it back together is just the opposite. slide the back in, and it just goes right in. The barrel, you find the flat right here and point it down, but you'll know because you'll kind of wiggle it till it makes in there, and then you just tighten your barrel nut down till it stops making noise. About right there. So like I said, it's kind of cool. The firing pin's actually connected to this piece here. So when you lock it to the rear, that piece is back there, and then you pull the trigger, and this whole assembly comes flying forward. Kind of unique for sure. It kind of makes it feel like an open bolt, because when you pull the trigger, you can feel that weight slamming forward. Go ahead and put our dust cover back on. Just get it lined up and pop it in there. So speaking of the trigger, it's pretty heavy, but it's smooth. It's much better than what I really thought it was going to be. Look at your reset, fairly far all the way out, but that trigger's not terrible for what this is. I was kind of impressed with it. Was expecting much worse. So, all right, well, let's take this bad boy outside and ring a bunch of steel. All right, we're back here. We're only about 10 yards away. I just want to verify our zero with this Holosun red dot, see where we're at. All right, looks like she's still on. All right, we got some targets out there, 15-ish yards. I got a plate at 25 and a plate at 40. We'll see what we can do with the Uzi Pro. All right, this thing shoots pretty good. You know, it shoots about as good as any AR-9 or a PCC that I've shot. It doesn't look like it'd be quite as ergonomic, but it actually does pretty good. And this thing's pretty stable. Recoil's not too bad. This thing does pretty well. All right, we're about 65 or 70 yards. We'll take some shots, see what we can do. Oh, missed the last one, but yeah, not too hard. All right, we're back inside from shooting the Uzi Pro. Go ahead and clear it real quick. And man, it sure was a whole lot of fun. You know, I wasn't sure how this was going to go when my buddy first told me that he was buying it. I just wasn't sure of the application of this. You know, you knew it was going to be fun just blasting rounds, but I just wasn't sure how practical it was going to be, and I was kind of surprised. This SB Tactical brace on the back of this made this an incredibly stable platform that, you know, really you can put this up against any other 9mm PCCs out there, you know, AR9s or whatever. This thing, you can shoot it pretty well, you know. I fired 300 rounds through it today. There were 0 malfunctions, ran like a champ, which is always good. You don't want to spend this kind of money and, you know, have it not run. Just a very shootable gun. You know, I think you got a pick rail so you can put your red dot sight on there. The trigger, you know, is not terrible, more than good enough. And, you know, just holding this up and taking shots at, you know, 65, 70 yards wasn't that big of a deal. The thing shot pretty well and was a whole lot of fun. I really would have put a whole lot more rounds through it, but, you know, ammo's not so cheap these days. But, you know, I enjoyed putting the 300 rounds through it. I did, because it just shot incredibly well and it was a whole lot of fun. So I just don't know how much more fun than you can have shooting something called Uzi, because, you know, growing up in the 80s with all the, you know, all the action movies, guys shooting stuff like this was pretty awesome. You know, I guess if it was a open bolt full auto, I'd have more fun, but I had a whole lot of fun shooting this thing today. And I guess these things are have been discontinued now, so I don't know that you can get these, but that's a shame, because, you know, this thing was pretty cool, fun to shoot. So, well, there you go, guys. IWI UZI Pro. Y'all have a nice day.